I decided to do this recording over the video so it could help you can understand what the hell's going on. These guys, again, they were teams, I would say 12 per team. One started from the south, one started from the north, and they kept pulling these nets in until they met in the middle. And they had to go back and forth depending on the tide, where they were going, right or left. As you can see, they're just about getting it to shore. The team on the left and the team on the right are meeting in the middle. The birds know what's coming. They can sense it. I'm just taking pictures of the frigate birds, and they got a lot of free meals from this thing because these nets were chock full of what they call, I believe it was kata, and those are very small. You'll see them, very small fish. But I had been pulling at this point for about an hour. Pretty tired. The hands are extremely sore. Now that it's 4 or 5 hours later, but it was really well worth it, and quite an experience. So I'm going to let the video do most of the talking. As they pull the nets in, you throw out debris. You tend to trip over them, so you have to throw the net over itself and the ropes so that you don't get killed. But as you see, there's a lot of nets. There's probably thousands of feet because this took hours to pull in. There's some old guys, young guys, and all types, and just a bunch of guys pulling in nets. So I'll shut up and let the pictures speak. Of course, the surf sound makes it better, but at least this way you can see what happened. If you want to see the real surf sound, I'll leave the YouTube video intact, but this way I'm doing this through Camtasia. I can get a good overview, voiceover of what's happening. You see that now they're all starting to get more and more to the center because it's finally almost on shore. And I say that, but this net was just immense. It kept going and going and going. And very, very soon you'll see there will be a boat that will come in from the right. That's the guy who was out there monitoring it, and they'll start loading this into the boat, and then, well, I'll let you see it. It's kind of cool. And the birds, again, free meals. Come and get it. They must have lost a lot to the birds, but they don't seem to care. Free food, folks, if you're a bird. And there were some seagulls. They don't look anything like the seagulls I've seen. Most seagulls I had in California were white. These are all black with a little bit of white. And most of these birds are frigate birds. They can see the red pouch underneath their chins. Do birds have chins? But frigate birds, because they have no ability to be water, their feathers cannot repel water. They get, if they get in the water, they die. Their feathers cannot repel water. So the frigate bird almost never lights unless it's on land. And I did a blog on the frigate bird. They can soar for days and days and days and never come down. All their food is they steal it from other people. Other people. They steal it from other birds out of midair, or they, like this, they swoop down when there's fish on the surface and they grab it, and they never touch the water. So the frigate birds are a pretty amazing creature. They've discovered their heart rates just never go up, and they can soar for days and days and days. I think the record they said was one bird went 40 miles on, never flapped his wings, just soared. They kind of live in the clouds. They're the highest. There's the fish. Here we go. These little kata. Tiny little things, an inch, maybe two, if that. Silver. And I got to find out what they do with them. I would take it. They're not big enough to really eat by themselves, but they probably eat them in dozens because there's like a bite per fish, or maybe they use them for bait. I have no idea. I didn't have the strength to ask him, get into a translation translation war. That's not the right word, but just too tired to try and figure out how these fish are used. But there they are, man. There's lots of them, and they're trapped between that net. As you can see, they're just pulling it more and more and more and more, and the birds continue to get a free meal. There's other fish in there. There were crabs, and you'll see a lobster got pulled out, but this seems to be what they were going for, the cara. And there'll be a boat coming up here in just a second that will do its thing, and lots of fish. I'll quiet down again and let you guys just see it. Net is getting smaller and smaller as far as the circumference of it, or diameter. Oh heck, I got a free meal right there. And the boat will be here fairly soon, because it's to the point where they got to start unloading it, or loading it onto the boat, getting it off the beach. A lot of teamwork, man. Here comes the boat. And they just pull it up on shore and start dumping it in handfuls. And 2 or 3 guys get together and pull up the net and dump it in. You'll see in just a second. I got that filmed. Up on shore, they have trucks that will take these containers of fish to wherever they're going to sell them. I think there's a fish market about 2 or 3 miles up the road. That's probably where they were headed to. And these are the fish that have to wait because the ones down in the water are going to get unloaded. And I'm walking towards the side of the boat so I can. Here we go. What they do is they just gather up that net, and 3 or 4 guys, so it's kind of like a loop, and dump them in the hole. Whammo! There's some fish, folks. And they search for certain ones. They threw them on top, right up here in the front of the boat. I'll show you in just a second. Why they separate some, I don't know. Clearly, they're not the ones either too small or a different breed or species or whatever. But there are fish to be had. And they take these big shovels, and I saw these being sold. I said, what the hell do you need a shovel like that down here? There's no snow. Well, this is what they use them for. Scooping up little cara into these bins, and off they go. And these guys continue to pull the net in, kind of line it up, getting it ready for entrance onto the boat. As you can see, it takes a team, a lot of guys to do this. There's some old, some quite old, young and quite old. There you go. Have some fish, man. Tiny little things. And I'd say those things have to weigh 20 or 30 pounds when they're full, maybe more. You just keep loading it in, there's some kind of a big fish. They'll pull that out. And then they put them in these containers and throw them on their backs, and up the beach they go. You see there's the birds. Well, there's several just like right in front of you, bam. You'll see some of that. And again, this video is probably longer than you. Once you've seen it, but I think it was like 15 minutes, and it was just pretty fascinating stuff. Here we go, boom. And immediately it just starts shoveling it. What do you do? I shovel fish. That's what I do. And I can imagine cleaning these nets and washing them down and repairing them has got to be a full-time job in itself. As a matter of fact, when I was doing my long walk up the single boulevard on the ocean to try and find a restaurant on a Monday night, which I never did find. I don't know what it is about Monday, but the restaurant wasn't open. I came across these guys at night, and this was about 8 o'clock, I think 8 o'clock at night, and the nets were being repaired, tended to, because, you know, during the day they got to use them. During the night they got to fix them. So, tough life, you know. I don't know if the same guys repair them, but I imagine there's certain tasks that some guys do and some, you know, during the day and some do at night. Don't know. See how it goes, this, boom. Just put it on my shoulder and off I go. Fish flopping. And the ones that fall in the water, they're picked up by the birds. You'll see them flashing all over the place. Then boom, right in front of me, bam. Bam, bam. I tried to catch the fish before they got them, and sometimes I was pretty good at it. So they're quick, man. There's a fish in the water. It's not going to last long. I'm just looking around here, looking for more birds and fish. A little bit chaotic. Sorry about that. There they are. Those are frigates. Frigate birds. There's very few seagulls that I see on this beach. So this beach is most unique, perhaps not to Ecuador, but you know, there's no seaweed, there's no rocks. I went out body surfing for half an hour after the sun went down, when it stayed light for a good hour. No rocks, no seaweed, no debris. It's like, how good is that? It was very, very good. That's what makes this beach really special, because most beaches have crap you got to deal with. Not this one. A lot of driftwood that piles up on the rocks. I'll take a picture of that later. But I'm told by Lynn, the realtor, that stuff will come in for 3 or 4 months, and then the ocean will have some kind of a storm, will go very high tide, and that stuff will all go out to sea again, and it starts over. I've picked up a lot of those driftwoods to try and get a fire going, but I don't have a grate or a grill for the barbecue, although there are built-in brick grooves that the lady who's going to try and rent it out for us, Lori, said her husband works with metal. He's a welder, and he would be glad to make me some special grills to go over that thing. It would be awesome to be able to cook out there. Before the week is out, I'm going to try somehow get those, stack up that wood and have a fire and maybe cook some. I've got some ribs I bought, and see if I can do it that way. Look at that, shovel after shovel after shovel. So that's what I'm going to do for that. And I, just as a note, I lost my sandals in this escapade. I took them off so I could pull in the water and left them on the sand. I knew approximately where, but went back. By the time I got back, the tide had come in and they're gone. My contribution to the debris on the ocean, on the beach, my pair of black sandals. If I find them, I'll pick them up and put it back in the working order. No, I won't. I've just got to go find some and buy some more. Look at that, bird's going to peek right out of his head. Look at all this net. And we're coming to the end of the video. I just wanted to make sure I got it. Something you could hear at least in my stupid narration, which I hope was helpful. Quite an experience. I will remember it always as being totally unique. Not many people get to pull in a net and bring in fish on the coast of Ecuador. Except if you're an Ecuadorian fisherman, which I'm not. But it was, my hands are killing me. My shoulders surprisingly well. It didn't hurt my shoulder at all. I think I'm pretty much over that. My feet are destroyed. They're swollen. I've walked so many miles. I got to be careful. I got to be gentle with them. So, but I'll recover. You know, a couple of nights rest and sitting on the terrace watching the ocean and the sunset. So look at those birds. There you go, just dive bombing right in front of you, picking up those fish. Fishing from Ecuador. What a treat. The end.